Ladies and gentlemen of the Yuki fam, it is 8 days away for the new season of Call of Duty Modern Warfare Roman numeral number 2, and I am excited about Ashika Island. As we prepare ourselves for this new map, we do need to get ready for tomorrow, as tomorrow the new blog comes out to reveal the official roadmap to Season 2. However, what I have for you guys here is going to be my predictions based on what I've heard, watched, or read, or discussed with you guys on Retro Yuki Gaming News. So let's go over that, and I want to present to you my color key. So before we break this down, let me give you guys the color key. So if you see a green check mark, that means that is officially confirmed by Activision, the one who makes the Call of Duty game. If you see a yellow circle, that means it's a rumor, but it's a rumor that tends to make sense based on what we have read or heard, based on past videos. If it's a red circle, that means that's a rumor, but it's more of we just barely found out that that's a rumor. And I'm going to explain each one in bits. And you see a dollar sign, that means there is money involved in some type of fashion, like a microtransaction, or in this case, a major transaction. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. So let's get started with the multiplayer side of things because it doesn't get as much love as it should. So let's start with the first one, Valentine's Day event. So will they do an event specifically to celebrate Valentine's Day on the 14th? This so happens that's a Tuesday. Okay, so if you're not aware of events on Call of Duty, basically they do special events for certain occasions. For example, last year when they had the World Cup, they celebrated by doing a Warzone FC event where they do some type of Rocket League type of thing where you hit the ball into the soccer goal and that's going to count as points. And I showed you guys a little bit of that in a video talking about Warzone FC. Now, that mode did not stay. Obviously, that was limited time only, but that's a case of an event. So, will they do something for Valentine's Day on the 14th or that particular week? Some ideas have been floating around, including Kiss Confirmed, which is Kill Confirmed, but with a twist of the Valentine's Day event. Now, that's Kiss Confirmed, not Kill Confirmed, if you do the Valentine's Day twist. Now, that's just a rumor right now, and I put it yellow because it makes sense to have one, but I bet you they won't even focus on that. But I put that as yellow just to be generous. The second one I put is rotation of playlists. Playlists include something called Shoot the Ship, which is a playlist based on Shipment and Shoot House. There's also something called Third Person Mosh Pit and CDL Mosh Pit. Now keep in mind CDL stands for Call of Duty League, which is the E-League of Call of Duty. Recently, they just finished the tournament, and I believe Texas up or Atlanta Phase won over the Los Angeles Thieves recently. So that is the E League of the Call of Duty. So congratulations, Atlanta Phase over LA Los Angeles Thieves. Now, just to give you guys clarity, I don't follow CDL much, but if I were to follow a certain team because I'm from Los Angeles, I either go for the Los Angeles Guerrillas or the Los Angeles Thieves, and I'm going for the LAT, the Los Angeles Thieves, just because I want a team to root for. But CDL aside, they have done this thing where they rotate the playlist. So they take out playlist and they put back playlist, then they take it out again and put it back again, and that's why you see shipment disappear like every 3 weeks or so. So that's what they call the rotation of playlist. They're trying to say, oh, we're going to give you this, but we have to take away this. Okay. So most definitely that's a possibility. I put it as yellow because um it's more of what are they going to put in. I should have put that as green because they're definitely going to put playlist. But I put it yellow just in case. There is one thing I forgot to add to this list, and that is hardcore mode. And they have confirmed that the card hardcore mode will be included for season 2. Now keep in mind, tier 1 was considered hardcore mode, but nobody knew what tier 1 was, and it was confusing. So they are adding the official hardcore mode as in hardcore season 2. So they were gonna take out tier 1 officially and replace it with the official hardcore mode. So if you're not familiar with hardcore, basically take away the HUD, take away the other stuff, limited health thing, no health regeneration, and all that good stuff. So it's harder on purpose. The next thing that we are confirmed to have for the moment looks like it is the return of museum. So the museum map. So if you're not aware what that one was, basically if you followed me back in 2022, I did the beta of Call of Duty MW2 multiplayer, and one of the maps was the museum map. Now remember, I was still getting used to Call of Duty again because I just recently wanted to try Call of Duty again. I got the beta and then I got the game. So the museum map was actually taken out before season 1 because of copyright issues, but apparently they're gonna bring it back. We're not sure how long they're gonna bring it back for, but for now, it's confirmed to be coming back. I put green on that one just because there's been more from Charlie Intel to tell you guys, oh, museum might be coming back. Well, I put that as green as of right now, but I might change it back to yellow in the event that it might not work. Then we have the last one. Now, this one was more of, I've seen this happen before. Pretty much forgotten. Okay, so what do I mean by pretty much forgotten? Why did I put it green? So a lot of people who play Call of Duty before, back when there was no battle royale, usually tend for the multiplayer or the special modes like special ops or the zombies. Okay? Now, nowadays, however, with the rise of Battle Royale and the rise of DMZ most likely, or what they call extraction shooter, a lot of people flock over to Warzone, DMZ, or the extraction shoot the rebirth over multiplayer. Now that does not mean multiplayer is officially forgotten, but based on recent updates to the game, a lot of focus has been on the DMZ and the rebirth and resurgence, especially because it's a free mode. Um, and a lot of people saw that there is no content coming for multiplayer. Now, I know what it says. There's a new map. But remember, that map, technically speaking, was already in the game. They removed it because of copyright, and then now they're bringing it back. Remember, Crown Raceway was was renamed because of a copyright thing with F1, Formula One. So that's that car race, the fast car race. If you guys do not know. But has multiplayer been forgotten? In my opinion, yes, it has. Because what else is there to do in multiplayer other than a lot of people, including Exclusive Ace, and I'm not Exclusive Ace, blame Truth the Godfather, the Codfather, COD, not Godfather. Blame Truth the Codfather himself. Even said that it looks like a camel grinding simulator, and I have to agree with him because that's what everybody does nowadays. They wait for shipment because it's easier to get kills to get camo. That's a camel grinding simulator, according to Blame Truth the Codfather, and I have to agree with him. It is kind of a camel grinding simulator. Now let's get into the big stuff that everybody wants to see. The DMZ and Warzone, I combined both. I should not have, but I did. Obviously, we already know what the new map is. It's called Ashika Island, based on Sea Lion. So if you translate Ashika according to a few stuff, it's called Sea Lion, and it's in the Pacific, according to what I heard. The return of Resurgence and Rebirth, obviously confirmed. Everybody knows about this one. So if you've never seen Resurgence though, or Rebirth, the names are interchanged, by the way. So basically, if you die in Warzone, you go to something called the Gulag. If you die in the Gulag, you're out, unless there's a jailbreak. In Rebirth Resurgence, if you die in Resurgence Rebirth, there's a timer that allows you to come back in the game. Okay, as long as your squad does not get eliminated early. Once that timer runs out, you are coming back into the game until the fourth circle. Once you reach the fourth circle, usually they close Resurgence. That's Rebirth. And then after that, you are now spectating. If you die again in the Rebirth after fourth circle. Usually final 21. Usually final 20. They close it because you're in the end game. Okay, so that's what Resurgence Rebirth is if you've never seen it. And you're gonna see it day one when we play it. Okay, we also have a new boss called the Bomb Maker. So back in Al Mazrah, he was called no, he was called, excuse me. The boss was called the Chemist, and we heard the Chemist before. Like he can do some chemistry on ya. So the bomb maker for the new one is going to try to make bombs, obviously. And it talks about like there's rumors of how he's gonna play. He might play with grenades, he might play with mines, he might play with other material like C4. So how do you approach Mr. Bomb Maker? We have to find out. We're about to find out soon. So that is confirmed obviously by the blog. So we're good there. Game number of players 20 to 30. I put this yellow. Here's my prediction about the number of players allowed on the new map for Resurgence of Ashika Island. It's a small map, obviously. There's no Mazrah. So I really believe it's 20 to 30 players. Back in Fortune's Keep, I think it was 50. But I'm gonna cut it to 20 to 30 based on what I heard. A lot of people believe that it's a small enough map for 20 to 30 players. Here's where it gets interesting though. It's the beginning of Ashika Island. In order to get into Ashika Island, you have to go through heavy fog according to our readings in the recent days. So even if you have to infiltrate the beginning, the shores, before you get inland into the Ashika Island. If you guys remember me playing Rust, it's like starting on the beach and getting your rock, getting your wood for the house, for your base, and then going inland. It reminds me of that. So I have a feeling there's gonna be a lot of sweaty players out there that will kill players on the beach before they go inland, before you get inside of the island itself. So we have to see how many players are going to be allowed on a map at one time. I think 20 to 30 is a safe bet though. according to rumors, so I put that as yellow. Just we'll see what happens tomorrow now. Cross location missions, obviously confirmed because we read the blog on the we read the blog for the path to season 2. That was there. So what do we mean by that? The cross location missions, you go from Al Mazrah for one mission, and then you can go to Ashika and then building 21. What do you mean? So one part of the mission might be in Ashika, the other part might be in building 21, and the last part might be in Al Mazrah. There's combinations where you have to do 2 or 3 maps for one mission. And we'll talk about the mission refresh later on down the line in just a moment here. But that is the cross location missions where you have to do the 3 missions, the three locations for one mission. You could extract an item from one, bring it to another, extract it there too, then go to the other one, do this, and you complete the mission, but you have to go all 3 locations. That's how it works. So that's been confirmed by the blog from the path to season 2. The next one is called a new version of Plunder. I put this as red. This is the only red that I can play with. And here's why it's red and not yellow. There is a video I shared a few days ago talking about I believe it was yesterday, by the way, talking about a version of Plunder. So if you're not aware of what Plunder is, basically take the same map you would use for Warzone, but instead of killing players for the win, it's getting money for the win. So plunder like a pirate would do, get some treasure. In this case, it's money, and the goal is $1 million in money, in the virtual money, of course. And if you get $1 million, you win. First 1 million wins, or first or most of the team win. That's how it goes. It's like Team Rumble, but for Call of Duty. Now, why do I think that it's more red than yellow? There has not been any word of Plunder either from Charlie Intel or from the Call of Duty blogs. There has not been any word of that for the game mode. But that does not mean it won't happen. It might happen later. That's the thing. Or it might be a surprise drop. So, Plunder might be a thing, might not be a thing. That's why it's red. So that's why I put it red. I would love Plunder to return, actually. That would be nice. But I'm already happy with Resurgence. Added stats for weapons. I put this as yellow because there's been a rumor that there's going to be added weapon stashes. So for your contraband weapons. So if you exfil the weapons, they become contraband weapon. And there's going to be an added stash for that. I kind of agree with this one. There's rumors of this already. I think they will. I put this as yellow because I haven't seen it much in the blogs, but I've seen it in videos. So I'm going to put it yellow. If it's something we have never seen before, like Plunder, at least for the new game, then I put it red. But if I've seen it somewhere where, okay, maybe it has credibility or possibility, then I'm going to put it yellow. More accessibility for building 21. So they talked about this in the path to season 2 already. So basically, you can now get the building 21 key cards in the SAM site crates. You can get them in buy stations now, and you can get them with by killing enemies and all that good stuff. So obviously, that's good news. I have never played building 21 myself. So to see that there's more accessibility to Mr. Building 21, I am very excited. And they confirmed this. Green goes on the board. New faction. Now you may have noticed that there is a dollar sign on here, And that's because this new faction is behind a paywall. Let me explain. So the new faction is called the Crown. And the Crown is supposed to be apparently a British group. A British group shrouded in mystery here. So that's the good news. We have a new faction. However, here's the kicker. In order to access this new faction on the DMZ mode, you have to own the game. And what game I'm referring to is the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 game. In particular, the multiplayer, the one with the multiplayer stuff. And it's $70. Are you willing, however? Now keep in mind, DMZ and Warzone are the game modes to play for free. But they are locking the Crown behind a paywall. Now, from what is told, there's gonna be missions there. However, here's where it gets a little bit more tricky. How are the missions gonna be played out? Are they multi-location, or are they for single? How multi-location are they, and are they gonna be cross-mission? That's the key here. If it's just for the new faction missions and cosmetics, fine, paywall. But if it locks something else other than missions, lockables and all that, unlockables and all that, where it's vital for this new faction, then we have a problem there. Okay, so we'll see how this works out. I'm gonna try the new faction, the Crown. I feel it. I dig it. And finally, mission refresh. So they have already confirmed that there is going to be some type of mission refresh. So basically, they take away the keys, the contraband weapons, unless you have an insured weapon slot. If you have an insured weapon slot, you're fine. You keep that slot. I never unlocked new weapon slots, so it won't affect me much except for the contraband weapons, but that's okay. Okay, but the reason why they're doing this, apparently according to the blog, was because that the missions got too hard too fast. And now that we have the new missions for the new map, they're trying to make it cross island. I mean not cross island, but cross location, cross mission. So to do this, they have to refresh the missions again. And it makes sense. It actually makes sense to believe it or not. Now, how do I feel about this? I think it's a good idea. Now, the blog also mentions that it's not going to be every season. So, if you're thinking it's going to be another refresh every season, don't worry. They said they're going to try different approaches to make it more interesting. Now, here's my thing. If it's a brand new map after Ashika Island for season 3, then they're going to do a refresh for sure. But if they're going to stick with Ashika Island, they're not going to do the refresh. That's my thing. Now, how do I feel about season 2 overall? Based on predictions and based on what we have been reading in our readings for the Retro UK Gaming News, I'm excited. Now, I feel bad about our multiplayer friends. I really do. Because they do deserve more content. Myself, I play on DMZ. And I cannot wait to play Resurgence again. But the only time I play on multiplayer is for shipment. No cap. But is multiplayer really forgotten? Yeah. But there is still content coming out from multiplayer, but it's not as much as you would see for DMZ, Warzone, Resurgence, and raids. In case they add a mission, I forgot to mention raids and missions. But again, they focus more on the Warzone, the Battle Royale, the DMZ, and Rebirth. So let me know in the comments below if you agree with what I have on the board here, and what are you looking forward to as next Wednesday hits. We are only 8 days away from the brand new season. I'm excited. I cannot wait to bring you out the clips again. So, as always, this is Retro Yuki Productions saying, make sure you guys live life to the fullest, and we'll see you guys in a few hours, because our Call of Duty specials begin tonight. We're having fun in the DMC, y'all.